Hello, and welcome back to Dottore And The Spy. Last time, we got ourselves multiple endings, specifically Ending 1, Declined Invitation, where we decided, nope, I'm not spy material, I'm gonna dip on out of here. And Ending 2, Gift of Goodwill, where we learned that we were little more than a sacrifice for the sages to get Dottore's cooperation. At least that's what he told us. This time, as you can see, we're at the first encounter, again. Final time we're starting a video here, I promise. I have one more dialogue option to get from watching him before we steamroll this playthrough into a certain ending. No, not the three-way option. But it will give us our final way to get that, so I can do that ending next all in one video. Anyways, let's get into this. So yeah, we get pushed into the hallway. You seemed like you were hoping to talk to me. I can words, I swear. So this is our last option that we have not gotten in any of the many times I've done this initial encounter, so correct. So you'll see here that I can skip this dialogue. Funny story, I went and recorded all of this already, but OBS, in a moment of sheer brilliance, decided it wasn't going to record the game audio because I had Bluetooth on. I have no idea why that happened. So here I am, recording it all again. Yay. Anyways, let's continue with the actual story and not my weird tech issues. So, also, this line is supposed to be Dottore saying it. I don't know why it's not saying that, but you'll see in a moment what I'm talking about. You speak with such confidence. Unusual for a mere agent like you. You nod silently and accept his words as some kind of compliment. Yeah, that's how I know. That's how I know, because I learned that like half an hour ago. I got reminded of it. And then, of course, my weird tech issues. And then now it gets back into the, after La Signora's passing, reassigned under Dottore. So we are just going to skip. It doesn't matter what I pick here as long as I don't get caught, because that's the first thing I need to not do, is not get caught. So here we are, dance scene, that's a normal thing that just happens. I'm just gonna pick random things because we've already seen everything in this. Anyways, we're free to go do our things. So what I'm gonna do, hi Tarja, I miss you. As I was going to say, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna skip through all this dialogue so that we can get ourselves to the castle, because that's where we need to go next. So we're gonna enter the carriage, and then this, as I said earlier, gives us the exact same stuff, so we're just gonna push our way through this. Anyways, we are finally here. We have arrived. And then we'll just start kind of reading from here and get to it. Ah, my dear Kayal. With slow but steady steps, he continues to approach you until he comes to a stop just an arm's length in front of you. I see you brought some pretty harsh weather with you. Is that your way of thanking me for inviting you? He chuckles amusedly and walks briskly past you. You would think if having had to read this already that I'd be able to read it better. The answer is no. It's already late and you've probably already thought about where you're going to spend the night. Surprised, you listen and then hurry after him with quick steps. The resounding splash of your shoes on the bare stone floor echoes ghostly from the bleak walls. The overall atmosphere gives you chills, unsure if it's due to the actual coldness or the feeling of loneliness. After all, you are on your own in enemy territory. Well, since there is no lack of space here, I have had one of the guest rooms prepared for you. During the night, a guard will be posted at the end of the corridor, whom you may harass with questions and requests. Again, a chuckle escapes him as he continues down the corridor. Anyway, so we have to ask this one because we've not done it yet. Is this place your property? Dottore laughs briefly and lets his gaze wander along the walls. Or so you assume. No, I could have invested the Mora much more usefully. Pantalone dwells too much on trivialities. Yeah, he's just out here like, I could have spent this Mora into science-related experiments, which is a much better use of time than having a giant castle built. Anyways, so yeah, at this point, Dottore is giving us the tour of the area, and now we're in our room, and so we're allowed to just kind of do what we want. So last time we inspected the room more closely, which let us realize that the mirror, in whichever direction this is, that is mounted on the wall, actually gives us knowledge that, hey, there is a hidden room on the other side of the quote-unquote mirror, which was actually like one-way glass. That is just not used because that'd be a waste of time. Anyways, this time we're going to explore the surrounding corridors. Curious, you open the door to the corridor and tiptoe out. The soft but still audible sound of your footsteps echoes down the empty hallway. You barely reach the end of the corridor when you flinch as you spot a partly familiar face out of the corner of your eye. Oh, we know each other. Yeah, it's the guard from way back when at the ball that we first encountered that has not shown up since because I've not had a reason to really go back that far. Surprised, you stammer in search of words, but you can't think of anything that makes sense. Mood. Literal mood. It's okay, I didn't mean to scare you. For tonight, I'll keep watch here. The restrooms are straight ahead, around the corner, then the last door. Oh, thank you so much, I was looking for those. At least he seems to believe your lie. No need to thank me. Somewhat relieved, you make your way to the restroom while your heart still flutters. You know that the guy is skeptical. He'll probably investigate every little irregularity during the night's rest. A little later, you enter your room again, stow your backpack in the closet, and take a look out the window. A resounding knock snaps you out of your thoughts and makes you wince. At this point, this goes back to the same thing of, hey, yeah, we have a meal. Is it poisoned? Well, it doesn't matter, because if it is, we're gonna have to eat one later, so we might as well just do it now. If we're getting poisoned, we're gonna just poison ourselves now. Alright, so last time we went to bed. We just went straight to bed. This time, I want to do a little bit of exploring, because this is where we could either get, caught exploring at night, or we actually can do one time without getting caught. So we are going to do that, because I'm not going to have any other opportunity to really do so. So we're going to explore the castle. You tiptoe out of your room and look left and right down the hall. Except for some pale light coming through the narrow windows, there is no other source of light. From one end of the hallway, you hear a soft rustle and the occasional bored sigh. That must be one of the guards. I will go in the other direction. Struggling not to make a sound, you wander down the cold corridor. You follow the dark hallway that unfolds before you. The sound of your footsteps is faint, but still audible. Finally, you reach a large, elaborately decorated door. Your gaze immediately lingers on the small carvings in the wood, and you realize that something important could be hidden behind this door. Gently, you place your hands on the cold wood and push the wing door inward. A large library opens up ahead of you. Your gaze wanders up the high, crammed shelves. The racks seem to almost deform under their own weight. As you pass by, you run your fingertips over the spines of some of the books that are at eye level. In a hidden niche, you discover a small table, a matching chair, and some books and papers scattered on the tabletop. Your heart begins to beat faster at this sight. Would this be enough for the sages to accept you back at the academia? With trembling fingers, you reach for one of the pieces of paper to take a closer look at the characters scribbled on it. The sight of the partially smeared characters leaves you puzzled. It's impossible for you to decipher it. No matter what the secret code is, you can't read it. Still, this find is better than nothing. Hoping no one would miss this single piece of paper, you fold it up and pocket it. Then you let your eyes wander through the archive again. You are still alone. So far, no one seems to have discovered you. You can return to your room or continue your exploration. So yeah, as I said, if you continue any further with exploring, you're going to get caught, and in shoved into the delusion testing or double spy or whatever after that. So we are going to return to our room. Because I need to do that to be able to get this ending I'm working towards. After your more or less successful exploration, you return to your room. Neither the guard nor anyone else seems to have followed you or noticed you. Pretending to have been only briefly at the washrooms, you calmly go to bed. I missed a word. Of course I did, because what else is new? Anyways, the next day, we're gonna just skip to getting to the lab because this all plays out exactly the same as if you had not even done any exploring. An eerie-looking hall stretches out in front of you, where you discover all kinds of devices of which you can only guess what they are used for. Cables and tubes hang down the walls, crisscross the floor, and run to large, glowing blue containers that hold sometimes more, sometimes less large, misshapen things. Some of them are as big as humans, others as small as embryos. A shiver runs down your spine at this sight. Just what you see here with your own eyes should have some value for the sages. Then you spot him. Busily, he rummages among papers on which you can make out rough sketches and illegible notes from your current distance. You take a few steps forward and clear your throat. Good morning. Dottore pauses, turns to you, and begins to grin at the sight of you. The morning is almost over. He lets go of the notes and wanders with slow steps through the room, getting closer to you bit by bit. To be awakened by the weak sun, you often have to wait until noon in this region, if the clouds let any sun rays through at all. A stark contrast to the mornings in Sumeru, as you surely noticed. There it was again, that grin that he knows more than he lets on. So last time we asked if it was from his own experience, to which he was like, I already forgot what it was. I knew it immediately and then just immediately forgot. Of course I did. Where he was like, oh, why do you think that? Kind of thing. And it's like, well, you seem to know it. You seem to know how it was. So we're just going to answer. You seem to know quite a bit about my background already. Nodding in agreement, Dottore turns away from you and wanders thoughtfully up and down the laboratory. Indeed. As for I like to be prepared, I did some investigation into your past. Your heart makes a leap. How much did he find out? And what? Did he find the official version of the sages, according to which I was expelled from the academia? Or does he know about the offer that the sages made me? Struggling not to show your nervousness, you force a short laugh. Oh, yes, not a particularly impressive career on my part, I must confess. On the contrary, being expelled from the academia for curiosity only shows that you have found something of such importance that the sages would not want you to find it. Yeah, it's called your notes, sir. We found your notes. And then at this point, this goes back into the normal dialogue. Darshan Kasharawar, correct? That brings back memories, doesn't it? Whether he's talking about you or himself, you can't say for sure. Silence follows. The ideal opportunity to ask a question. So yeah, as I mentioned last time, how this option is really grayed out, and despite how much I tried to click this aggressively, you cannot click it, because we did not investigate the room, so we cannot ask about the mirror. Not that it matters, because I need to ask actually this one. All this stuff here, what do you need it for? Are you interested in my research? There is a tone in his voice that you don't quite know how to interpret. Immediately, your heart begins to beat faster as you consider whether the question makes you seem suspicious. Yes, well, no, I mean, if not, you'd be out of place here. After all, you have both curiosity and what appears to be basic knowledge, which is taught in Darshan Kasharawar. But since you actually seem to be interested in my research... He turns away, runs a hand over the operating table in the middle of the room, and grins knowingly. I have decided that today you will witness a test. And then at this point, yeah, so the delusion testing and going to go and cut up a body, because that's what we do around here. We commit autopsy. And then countless more weeks passed, and then we're here thinking, do we want to actually continue to spy, or do we want to abandon this and just stay here with Dottore? So last time, when we got to this point, we canceled the mission. To get the ending I want, we have to continue. We have to keep being a spy and doing our spy work. The next day. So this is all new at this point, I just want to point out. So when I did this initially, the skip was not allowed in the slightest. Just so you know. A new morning is already dawning. The decision you have made lies heavy in your stomach. On somewhat shaky feet, you go to the lab, as agreed with Dottore the day before. You enter the almost empty room. No one is there except the corpse and you. Il Dottore? You look around searchingly. He is not in the other room either. Pondering, you step closer to the corpse and look at it thoughtfully. I wonder who that could have been. Where did he come from? What were his dreams? Footsteps sound behind you. You are early. Surprised, you startle out of your thoughts. He opens his mouth to add something, but your obviously thoughtful expression surprises him. Instead of addressing that, he walks over to the corpse and sweeps his fingertips over the scalpels at the ready. I have something special planned for today. You swallow. The thought of the mission weighs even heavier on you now. What would the sages say if they knew that you had witnessed the autopsy of several, presumably innocent, dead people? Your gaze wanders over to the surgical instruments. There are some new items there that you don't know. In particular, a syringe filled with luminous liquid catches your attention. You have already been able to gather quite a bit of knowledge. I assume that by now you could perform a complete autopsy on your own. He lifts the syringe and holds it up to the light. His grin widens. Let's bring a dead man back to the realm of the living today. Then he lowers the syringe, puts it back in its place, and points to an unused surgical mask and fresh vinyl gloves. Your heart stops. You stare in disbelief at the, still, dead man in front of you. Are you serious? Dottore laughs briefly. There's a bit of mischievousness in his voice. Go ahead. Or are you afraid? What happened to your previous fascination? His grin disappears. All at once it gets cold around you, yet you notice how your hands start to get sweaty. Or was your fascination just pretend? By the Archons, he knows. How does he know I'm doing spying? Did he have the background story the sages gave me checked? He had plenty of time. You quickly put on a nervous smile. No, I just don't think I'm ready to perform such an experiment. Knowing full well that your facade is already crumbling, Dottore gets dangerously close to you. Prove your interest to me. With a nod, he points to the instruments. Don't be shy. So, at this point, we would either get an ending, or get an ending. We are going to perform the experiment, because this refuse option is the final one for that three-way ending that I was talking about multiple times over the course of this playthrough. This is our last way to be able to get that. So I'll be able to show that next video. But for this one, we are going to perform the experiment and supposedly bring a dead person back to life. Yay! With a few but tense movements, you put on the mask and the gloves. Your gaze is constantly fixed on the dead body in front of you. You reach for the syringe and apply it to the corpse with a surprisingly steady hand. For a moment, you hesitate. You realize you have no choice if you want to keep your guard up. Biting your lip, you stab the cold metal into the dead and now waxy skin of the test subject. The glowing liquid disappears beneath the thin layers of skin, So you pull the needle out and take a few steps back. You have broken the rules of the academia. Both you and Dottore are aware of this, so he leans over your shoulder and whispers words to you in a low but soft voice. You really did it. What do you think the sages will say about that? Do you think they would accept you back into the academia? A harsh laugh escapes his throat as heat rises up to your head. You just blew your last chance to return to the academia. If they really wanted your mission to succeed, they would have given you better disguise. But your mission was probably never designed for a period of several weeks. He waits a moment for your answer, but the shock still sits firmly in your bones. The realization that you are no longer welcome anywhere throws you completely off track. Your hands are now soaked in blood. Then you feel his hands on your shoulders. Where do you want to go now? You remain silent. He begins to chuckle again. Welcome home. So yeah, that's our next ending. Ending 5, Guilty. Why do I know that one very easily off the top of my head? Because that was the first ending I got when I played this game completely blind. I was so dead set on being the best spy I could possibly be that I screwed myself over. Anyways, so just to recap how to get this ending as quickly as possible. First, you have to not get caught at the ball. It doesn't matter whether you burn or keep the notes because those notes never showed up. Then, once we get to the castle, we then have to not get caught exploring. Whether that's you just immediately go to bed, or you explore one total time during that nighttime. Then, after that, we have to continue the mission. So, don't cancel it. You gotta keep being a spy. And then once we're presented with the option to either perform the experiment and bring a guy back to life, or to refuse and suffer the consequences, you have to continue the experiment. You have to do it. You have to screw yourself over. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Next time, we are finally going to get that ending with its 3 different ways to get it. And I'm going to show all 3 different ways to get to that point. And so, yeah. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy these videos because I enjoy making them. I enjoy playing these games. What can I say? I'm hyper fixated. Anyways, until next time.